Horror has been a popularly sought-after source for thrills and chills from a wide variety of audiences. From the slasher lurking in the woods to the ghost in the attic, many scenarios have been explored as to fit the fears and anxieties of the time.
People pay money to feel like that? It's cute.
But there's one that has only recently made a dent in the film sphere, and that is cosmic horror. Professor Victoria Prohoskova describes the subgenre as such that implies elements of science fiction and depicts emotions when a person finds out something he would rather not know about. Cosmic horror can even be seen in small glimpses in other subgenres, such as in Stephen King's It, where Pennywise the Dancing Clown is revealed to be an alien that took shelter on Earth many years before humans came along. This subgenre explores a feeling of human insignificance contrasted to forces bigger than ourselves. It was first pioneered by author Howard Phillips Lovecraft in his writings of The Call of Cthulhu and The Shadow over Innsmouth, in which he depicts terrors not seen or understood by the sane human mind. In the past, when it came to adapting such stories to the screen, there's been trouble. Many have had limitations when it came to showing the creatures, or even just the concept of Lovecraftian tales. In the Cthulhu mythos, Lovecraft writes the fictional city of R'lyeh as a coastline of mingled mud, ooze, and weedy cyclopean masonry, which can be nothing less than the tangible substance of Earth's supreme terror. The nightmare corpse city of R'lyeh, loathsome irrelevant of spheres and dimensions apart from ours. Now, as mind-bendingly terrifying as it sounds on a page, it proves quite difficult to transfer to a screen. That is why it is fascinating how some modern cosmic horror films have gotten around such obstacles while still keeping the same feeling of existentialist horror. In John Carpenter's The Thing and In the Mouth of Madness, cosmic horror is seen to branch into two separate storytelling forms. With The Thing, Carpenter focuses on the body and gore horror of the creature that is never seen in its true form. It only takes the form of and absorbs those that it consumes. The Thing is an alien who crashed into the Arctic winter where an expedition had taken shelter, and wreaks havoc on the expeditioners by assuming the shape of its victims. In the end, it isn't clear who is the alien as it blends so seamlessly into the group. And it is this feeling of unease and powerlessness that creates this cosmic horror appeal. While the practical effects were very well done for the creature, the plot had a lot of elements of just a monster movie, but the subtle fear and tension of being infected by this creature and having it destroy humanity as we know it allows it to fit into the Lovecraftian subgenre. One of Carpenter's lesser-known films, In the Mouth of Madness, follows almost an exact script from a Lovecraft tale, with an insurance agent following clues to a horror author's sudden disappearance to a town that is not quite right. The main theme of this film is not being able to distinguish reality from fiction, as the main character slowly loses his mind at the horrors that he witnesses, in which he is sure could not possibly be real. As was mentioned before, cosmic horror deals with the aftermath of a person discovering something they should not, of looking behind the veil and being consumed with madness, as this film showcases that. Now, the writing does leave something to be desired, as the practical effects and acting were acceptable at best, but this is one of the few films that really understood what existential horror is about. A far more modern and perhaps more appealing rendition of a cosmic horror story is Alexander Garland's Annihilation, in which 5 scientists explore Area X, or the Shimmer, a zone of Louisiana swamp that has recently been hit by an asteroid of sorts and begins a mutation event in the nearby plant and animal life. This film deals with the idea of self-destruction as a form of survival. As for the mutations, the scientists discover that all of the DNA inside the Shimmer is being refracted into the gene pool, including themselves. Lena, the main character, at last discovers the source of all the mutations in a lighthouse near the coast. The creature, or being, does not have a form until it mimics Lena, much like the Thing. It copies her every move and finally becomes her. In the end, similarly to Carpenter's film, we aren't sure if what came out of the Shimmer was the real Lena, and it is possible for this creature to deal the same treatment to those around it and the rest of the Earth. This inherent fear of contagion, of unknowingly losing the things that make us human, is what makes this film existential horror. We've seen several elements being portrayed differently for various narratives, but the feeling is always the same. We have no control over ourselves or our future. As tacky and kitschy as older films from the subgenre have been, they've all kept the same central theme of human insignificance and powerlessness in the face of the things we have no hold over. It seems that such movies are moving away from the visual to focus on the emotional and psychological, to not show dread of our gargantuan monster, but of the idea of losing touch with our own humanity and unwittingly becoming something we fear. Cosmic horror has always and will always depict the side of horror that can be incredibly difficult to portray on such fleeting media. Even experts such as Dr. Rebecca Janiker from the University of Portsmouth conclude that such stories are better fit to the colored page, where there are no limitations to what the human mind can summon from the depths of our nightmares. However, it is clear that with rapidly evolving special effects and a deeper understanding of the subgenre, cosmic horror may have an awakening in the near future, where mutant aliens and old gods may once again reign the cosmos.